Alright, we are here with Rainbow Six Siege tier list. Now, obviously, first things first, of course, any of these operators can be S tier, and any of them can be D tier, depending upon your team, the map, the game mode, even the enemy team. So this is just overall most consistent, most useful, most reliable, and as well as their kit, what they've had. Obviously, a lot of these operators have been changed, some more than others, but we are going to do our best. So I have not played with any of these last four. So I'm just putting them in B because I don't know what half of them do. So this is the last time I played. Now, if I don't remember some of these last few names. I have played with them, as them, against them, but I forget some of their names because it's been a minute. But we'll mix it around. So we'll go with the best attacker in all of Rainbow Six Siege. He gets banned a lot because he's so fucking good. And that's your boy Thatcher. S tier attacker for sure. His kit is probably one of the best in the game as far as his EMP grenade. I mean, that literally stops virtually all defenders of anything. Minimum, at least the cameras around the whole place, of the whole map. So his gun's alright, not the best, but definitely not the worst. And he's 2 speed, 2 defense, so just normal. But that EMP grenade is disgusting. Can definitely destroy a whole lot of different type of defensive builds that are very annoying. Who next? Alright, we're gonna go Thermite. And the reason Thermite is not an A, I think, is because he is one of the easier hard breachers to deal with. Mostly just because there's a whole lot of things you can do to stop just the wall breach. I mean, you could say that with Habana, but at least Habana can do some different things instead of just making one whole wall opening. But yeah, I think Thermite obviously is one of the GOAT operators for sure, GOAT attackers for sure, but I think he's also one of the easier hard breaches to be able to deal with, as far as him just using one hole instead of being able to do everything Maverick can do, as well as Habana can just make, you know, multiple openings. Alright, let's switch over to a defender. Let's go Vigil. I think Vigil is solid. I feel like a lot of his weapons are very, very good no matter what you use. At least as far as primaries. His secondaries are a little crazy, but they're still definitely not bad. But I don't think necessarily that not being seen by drones is crazy. I think it is useful at points, but not, you know, an insane ability in the game, I don't think. Again, obviously at certain points in the game it can literally win you the round possibly, or at least save you from dying, or knowing that somebody's there, get you a kill, whatever. But the overall usefulness of the ability is kind of hit and miss. Again, I think him as an operator itself, as far as his kit and everything, is very, very good. But the ability is hit or miss. Callie, I think Callie is C. I just don't think that she is the most useful. Now you could say, well, how bad is Glaz? I think Glaz is probably down there with her. I think Callie might be better. The only problem is that obviously you have to hit your shots. Now Kelly is a one-hit down, but we've all played with the Cali that just can't hit. At least Glaz has the ability to keep firing if he misses. But I do think that Callie's kit is probably overall better. I know she has the SMG or machine pistol or whatever you'd like to call it, which is better than Glaz's just straight pistol. But I think overall both of the snipers are just not always very useful. Now I'm probably not going to put anybody in D tier. I think obviously everybody has their uses for sure. So more than likely, I don't think anybody, if anybody was going to go in D tier, it's probably one of these guys. It might even be what's his face. But yeah, I think both of these are just useful at points, but there's so many better operators to choose on the attacking side that are just better for you or just better to help your team in comparison to these two. Okay, let's do some fucking defenders, like I said. Castle, I think, is C. I think he's just very specific, you know, what you want to do. I don't think he's very useful. I think he can honestly be a hindrance to your defensive team by keeping your teammates in a room or in a certain area. I think that can be very devastating to the team at times. I think he does have his uses, obviously, on certain maps or certain objectives, depending on which one you're playing and whatnot. And his kit is not that bad. He has decent weapons and stuff, but overall, he's just way too picky and not good enough to always choose as a defender. Again, there's always so many more better defenders you could be. Orcs, I think, is C as well. I don't think his usefulness is really there. I think he's just more of a moving defender, or at least somebody that can cause a fucking ruckus or something. You know, obviously we've all seen little clips of orcs, you know, busting through a wall, knocking somebody over, and then he gets the kill. Sure, how often is that going to happen? I'd say 1 out of 10 times. Like, it's just not there. It's more than likely not going to happen. And yeah, I would say the only somewhat use is maybe against a Monty or something, which obviously at times is good, but you know, still, Orcs probably isn't really worth just the possibility of being able to hit down a Monty. Clash is difficult. I think she's super annoying and arguably OP, but I don't know. I think I'm going to put her in A only because she's just such a pain to deal with for the most part. I think she can really stall out a game or stall out a team or at least a few players at certain parts of maps. But I think over time people have gotten used to being able to deal with her through multiple different attackers and ways. I think the only reason she is up at A is because she's such a good defender at what she's supposed to do, and she basically just gets free damage by standing there if she's using the shield, honestly, so that can be of use as well. But she is very annoying. I do not like playing as her or against her at all. Oh, let's see. Capiteo. I think Capiteo is solid. I'll give him a B. I think he definitely has his uses, and I think he's probably not played as much as he should be. I think having smoke and fire, plus LMG with so many bullets, and I believe a grenade too, if I'm not mistaken, is honestly probably one of the most underused and underrated kits in the game. I think he's a very, very solid attacker. Again, I just don't think people pick him enough. I don't think he's ever, like, quote-unquote meta, but he is good. I think his entire kit is definitely, I would say his entire kit together is probably one of the best in the game, at least attacking wise, that people definitely do not use as much as they should. Let's see. I think Mozzy's probably A tier. His ability, no matter when you use it, is good. Being able to have your own drone plus cameras, multiple drones in fact, plus cameras is very, very useful. Plus it stops the attackers from having drones, no matter what point in the game, whether you put your little spider bug down at the beginning phase or later in the game, either way. As well as I think his two guns, either one of them are super usable and super good. I think they're both very solid no matter which one you decide to use. Plus a nitro cell, which I don't remember if they actually took that off him or not. For some reason I thought that they did at some point, but maybe I'm mistaken again. But I think he's probably one of the best defenders, just overall kit. And I think he's I don't know if he's a 3-speed or not. I think most everybody in the game is still 2 and 2. But he might be a 3, I'm not sure. Pulse. Pulse is difficult. I think Pulse is a B. I think just being able to know where people are at is very good, but I think he's more of just like a lone wolf type of guy. I don't think he's, you know, super good in a whole team setting. I think he goes in a certain highly mobile spot, highly walked through area, and just kind of waits and hopes that he gets somebody scanned and then, you know, hits him with either his shotgun or his ump. I don't think his guns are too amazing. They're not bad. Plus he has a nitro cell, which is actually good, obviously. But I think he's just kind of more of a... He's hit or miss, even per round. I think obviously he has his uses, but overall I don't... There's not an insane upside in using him, but there's also, you know, not a huge downfall either. So I think he's always a solid choice, but again, better people to use for sure. Ace, I would give Ace an A as well. I think having multiple hard breaching abilities, well, I guess it's not abilities, but, you know, multiple hard breachers, is super good. I think his AK is obviously one of the better guns in the game for sure as well. I would probably have to put him over Thermite, as far as, yeah, I'm actually going to give him S tier as well. I think he's just probably the best hard breacher in the game currently, being able to have multiple. Now obviously, again, honestly, all the hard breachers are relatively hard countered every single game, because that's, you know, the main thing you want to stop is hard breach. But I think if they are not countered at all, Ace is probably the best person to choose, just because he can make the most holes and destruction and openings for your team. Plus his gun is probably the best out of all the hard breachers. Maybe Maverick's guns, but I would say Maverick's hard breaching ability compared to the others is the worst, but I think it can be the most cheeky and most useful at times, as long as nobody's paying enough attention. But yeah, I think Ace deserves probably the S tier for sure. Definitely one of the better operating seasons that they came out with. Amaru, I say Amaru's a C. They're just so... Her kit is just overall not useful. I mean, obviously, again, as I've said with other people, we've all seen, you know, the YouTube or TikTok of somebody, you know, zipping through a fucking window and then basically wiping the whole team or whatever. Is it possible? Yeah, again, are you gonna do it? Probably fucking not. Maybe you'll get a kill and then nobody else is wherever you zipline to or whatever. But other than that, if you take away that, her guns are okay, but she's not really that great, not that useful. I mean, she's definitely not going to win you a game unless, you know, you somehow catch everybody lacking and you get some cheeky kills as soon as you bust through the window like that. But again, they can just hear you coming anyway, so not the best. Definitely, again, better attackers. Lamai, I think Lamai deserves an A slot. I think Lamai was a pretty good addition as far as helping out Jaeger mains. And what I mean by that is, obviously, Jaeger is probably the most picked defender in the game. One of them for sure. I think he's also definitely one of the best. But I think, obviously, having Jaeger and Lamai on the same team is, like, you can definitely hold down the objective very easily with these two. I think his kit is overall decent. I mean, it's not anything too insane from what I remember, but his ability is definitely very useful, and honestly you could use it in a kind of cheeky way, and you know, you could even put it outside the room so when they throw it, it comes back at them. Again, that's not the most useful way to use him, but being able to stop anything being thrown is definitely, or anything being shot as well, as far as like a fuse shit or whatever. But definitely A tier defender, pretty decent guns, decent kit. I don't remember, I think he has a nitro cell, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he has a barricade from what I remember, but again, it's been a minute, so forgive me if some of this shit has changed, so I could be wrong, but this is overall consistency from what I have seen and played. IQ, I think IQ is a solid B. I think she's a solid attacker, but again, I feel like honestly, her ability puts her almost at a disadvantage half the time. I think obviously being able to see defender traps and know exactly where the cameras are if you don't already know exactly where the cameras are, and everything like that is a huge advantage, but the fact that you have to have your pistol out can put you at a huge advantage as well. Plus half the time that you're, you know, scanning shit, you're looking for something and you're not necessarily paying attention to what's actually in front of you like a person. But again, solid. Her guns are decent. Definitely nothing to complain about there. And I do believe she has frag grenades, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I don't really run her though, so again, I could definitely be wrong. But I think she's solid. Definitely not a bad choice, but she might get you in trouble. What is her? Amaru, something like that? I don't know. A tier defender for sure. Those lasers down either a doorway or a window are very, very annoying to deal with. Minimum, it'll waste the attacker's you know, utility and tacticals and stuff, or just fuck them up if they run through the door. And her guns are pretty solid. Definitely no slouch on the gun department either. I think she's solid for the small amount of time I got to play as and against her. She can definitely hold down the fort if need be. Gridlock. Gridlock is difficult. I think I have to give Gridlock the A, and only because she has so many spike traps that she can throw. I think her guns are good, plus being able to throw 3, at least the time that I was playing, spike traps to kind of cut off an area or just do damage to somebody is pretty good, and if they're shooting at them, then, you know, can also be useful to know where people are at. I think she's overall solid. I would put her probably more towards like the A minus B plus area, but I think she deserves to be up in the A. I think just overall she's very good, very useful, and not really anything bad to say about her. Alibi, I think I have to give Alibi a B. I think maybe once around you'll get somebody to shoot at one of your fakes. And sometimes they might even not do it purposefully. They'll, just be shooting through a window and hit one of them or whatever. I think her gun is good. There's virtually no recoil to it. And I think having some good secondary guns that she does as well makes her pretty decent. But overall, I don't think her ability is the most useful. I think sometimes it can help you out a little bit, but overall, not so much. But I think her kit definitely carries her up to the B tier. Caviar. I think Caviar is probably the best roamer in the game. Two-shot down pistol. Nasty, can't ever hear her. She's definitely always the scary ghost lurking around. Impact grenades are obviously decent. Plus being able to interrogate and know where everybody on the attacking side is at for a brief moment of time is pretty disgusting. I think she's probably definitely a top tier defender. The only reason why I can't put her in S is because 99% of the time all you're going to be using is a pistol. Yes, it's the best pistol in the game, but sometimes that can still put you at a disadvantage. Plus, sometimes lurking around can honestly just get you killed if somebody's at the right place at the right time. And yeah, I don't think her guns are that good aside from her pistol. So if you're not downing people with that, then you're not winning. Oh, alright, Mira. I think Mira is just overall solid. I think being able to see some people and shoot through the mirrors are good. Her guns are okay, nothing crazy. Nitro cell is good, obviously. Obviously the biggest bad side about using those is once they're popped, they're forever there, and the attackers can use them as well, which can cause problems. Or if there's, a twitch or one of your teammates shot it and you don't know or whatever, then sometimes an attacker can literally just fuck you and your team up because they were looking through your window for free, basically. So there's definitely a lot of downside to her, but I think there's still a lot of upside as well. I think he can stop a lot of stuff from happening, or at least cause the attacker some problems, or hold down them from coming in. And her guns aren't terrible, but they're definitely not the best defending guns. I think Zofia probably has to go to the S tier. I think she has one of the best guns in the game in her AR. I think overall her utility that she brings for the team is disgusting. I mean, minimum if you're facing Jaegers or Mais or even Amaris or whatever, you can get rid of a lot of that shit, even if you just have to, shoot her grenade launcher stuff. Yeah, that sucks to do, but I think the fact that she has concussions, 2 impacts, and I don't remember what she can do. I think it's breach charges. I don't remember the second one, plus I don't know if they've switched her. But I think overall utility as far as attacking that isn't a hard breacher, she's probably the best in the game. Plus her guns are good. Plus if you down her and don't kill her, she still has the ability to get up with 1 health, which we'll take it. It's not gonna win you anything or whatever, but just the off chance that it does. Alright, let's do Sledge. I think Sledge is a little difficult. I think I'm gonna have to give Sledge the nod into A. I think, you know, if you don't have any hard breachers or you just can't get in with the hard breacher, I think he's one of the best to get in everywhere, just fuck up the whole map. Plus, I think overall his kit is good, having a pretty good AR, having a SMG as a secondary, plus having nades. Very, very solid kit. I think sometimes it can be more frustrating to play Sledge than Buck as far as being able to be one of the best soft breachers in the game. But I think he can at times catch people a lot more off guard than Buck as far as his soft breaching ability. So since we're talking about Buck, we'll put Buck up at A as well. The only reason why I probably wouldn't put Buck at S is because his guns are kind of trash. I mean, you gotta get used to using them as far as the recoil on the AR. The marksman is, you know, it's a marksman rifle, so hit or miss. But I would say he is better than Sledge. As far as usefulness and soft breaching, he's probably the best in the game for sure. But I think Sledge's guns are much more user-friendly to use for the most part. Finka, I think Finka deserves an A. I think she can do a whole lot with her ability. I don't think she's crazy good, definitely not making it into S for sure, but I think her ability can do a lot, whether it's just kind of give the nice little boost to your teammates, whether, you know, your teammate's getting shot, he needs some heals, whether they're low and he needs to go in, picked up, you know, it's literally free revives for your whole team, or just minimum extra health. And her guns aren't terrible either, so she definitely deserves a solid A slot, definitely a good attacker choice for the whole team and not just yourself. Maestro, I think I have to give Maestro the A slot. I do think that they switched his turrets now where they can just be basically destroyed. I might be wrong about that, but I think Maestro is one of the most annoying defenders to play against. He's super just annoying to play against. I think his LMG is obviously good. He can fuck up the map pretty good with his little pistol shotgun. But I think the turrets can definitely cause some huge problems and keep people bothered the entire game. Can definitely win rounds with them. So yeah, I think he definitely deserves a solid spot for sure. Bandit. I think Bandit's an A as well. I think he's probably arguably the best to stop all hard breachers in the game. Again, obviously that can be stopped by one EMP from Thatcher, but as long as you ban Thatcher or you don't place all of them down or whatever, then I think Bandit's probably the best in solidifying your hard breachers as far as defending against them. The MP7 isn't crazy good. I mean, it's solid, but definitely better SMGs in the game or guns in general. But I think him being able to essentially shut down almost all hard breachers in the game is a very solid feat for A. I would say the only reason I can't put him in S is, again, I think a lot of stuff can somewhat counter Bandit's batteries. Not necessarily counter, but like I said, one Thatcher, you know, Twitch is annoying to go against. And then if they're running a Maverick or something instead of another hard breacher, then he can deal with those as well. I think there's a lot of stuff that can be destroyed as far as Bandit's kit, and then if you're just left with the MP7 or 5, whatever they want to call it in this game, I don't think it's the best choice of defensive gun. Definitely solid, definitely worth a pickup and use, but I can't drop him into S for sure. Nook, I think, is just solid B. Being an attacker that can't be seen by cameras and stuff is very, very good. She has a little bit of Caviar in her, the fact that you can hear a little bit less, but still nothing amazing. The usefulness is kind of there, so she's more of definitely an attacking roamer, but I think that can also get her into some trouble. And I don't really think her gun is that good either. It is Smoke's gun, but I don't know. Her usefulness is just kind of not necessarily there, but it does have some upside. So she's okay, but again, like I'll keep saying, there's definitely way better attackers to use that are just going to be way more consistent for you and your team. Tachanka, the Red Lord. Honestly, I think he was better with the fucking LMG that had the shit on both sides, damn near unkillable. I don't think he's as good anymore. I think he still can kind of hold down an area or an objective because of his little napalm grenades, but I honestly think he's worse. I probably would have put him in A tier if he still had the LMG with the double panels on the sides, but I think them taking that off, which I understand why they did, but I think B's a solid spot for him. I don't think he's much better, and he's definitely not worse. And other than that, his kit's pretty decent and decent guns. But yeah, I think the napalm is worse than the solid LMG. Plus, everybody could have used the LMG, not just him, so that's also a chink to him. Monty. Damn. I think Monty's B. Maybe A, but the only reason I'm giving him a spot and not fucking D, because I hate the big ass paper towel, is just the fact that he does have some uses. I think he is a frustrating attacker to play against because there's not too much you can do against him, and there's not too many people that can do too much against him. Obviously can't shoot through him, and if you get up close, then he can knife you just as well as you can knife him. So it kind of just comes down to utility and how many people are left and whatnot. So that can be definitely frustrating. But I do think, obviously, the biggest downside to him is that he has no offensive power. You know, if you take down the shield and try to use your pistol, you're probably gonna lose the fight unless the dude just keeps shooting the fucking shield. But definitely has some very good uses and definitely has won multiple rounds of everybody's Rainbow games for sure. Oh, I forget this dude's name, and I'm sorry. And I honestly don't even remember his ability either, so I have to put him in B. I'm sure as soon as I would see it, I would remember, but I don't even remember what the fuck that guy does. I don't think he's the explosive drone guy. I think that's one of these people. So I don't know. So he's going B. I know it's a dude. I can literally picture his face. I can't picture his name or what he does. So my bad. Who all we got left? I feel like still a good mix of attackers and defenders. Blackbeard. Blackbeard just goes B. I think at one point in the game he was probably A or S for sure when his mounted riot shield took as many bullets as a whole fucking clip just to break, and he had multiple of them. But now it breaks in like 1 to 2 bullets, and then he just, you can still body him by then, or just shoot through it and hit him in the head, so it doesn't really matter. His guns are okay, he's not bad. And the riot shield is useful, it can definitely, save you at times, and you have multiple of them as well, but definitely, he's just solid at this point. Definitely not as good as he once was, but that was OP then. I do forget this guy's name, but I think his dumbass little glasses are the most useful thing in the game. I think its literal only use is very specific times against like blitzes or ying or smoke and shit. He does have a very solid kit, but I think he's probably just the most useless ability operator in the game, because you almost never hit that shit, and even when you do, the time it takes to get it and the possibility that it took you too long to hit it to realize what was going on, you might as well not even played the guy. You should have just played somebody else. Ash. I think Ash is A. I think she's always been one of the best operators in the game since OG day one. Obviously not her kit itself has changed too much, but her guns have definitely changed a whole lot by being taken off ACOGs, and her guns are moved around a lot, but that's just because she's one of the best, and they're trying to find ways to nerf my girl like that. But still very solid, one of the best soft breachers in the game, and very, very solid weapons, plus a 3-speed, so she's nasty. Definitely a solid choice. You're never going to be mad when somebody runs an Ash, that's for sure. Valkyrie. I don't know if Valk should be S or A. I think I have to give her the nod into S. I think the fact that you can have so many more cameras, especially some nasty Valk spots where people, even if they eventually find them, knowing where people are at, even more so at all times, is one of the best things to have as a defender. On top of that, her guns are very solid. The MP5 is very, very good, has a nitro cell. The deagle is disgusting. I think overall she's one of the best overall operators in the game as far as ability and kit. She's always useful on defense no matter what map, what game mode, or anything like that. I think she's definitely one of the best defenders in the game for sure. Jackal. I'll give Jackal a nod into A. I would put him in B and maybe think I'm crazy because everybody bans him, but everybody bans him just because they're scared of this lady right here, to be honest. But I feel like that is his main use, is just to find roamers, looking at the ground and scanning the fucking footprints. Fuck you, he's going to B. That dude, his guns are good. Very, very solid guns. But the fact that you gotta look at the floor, scan some footprints, maybe track somebody while your shit's all purple now, and the fact that it's probably gonna be Cavi or Vigil, like you're just there to find the roamers. Which, yeah, it's great that somebody can do that, but I don't think he's that useful. I've never found him to be, obviously you can eventually, if you're sitting there walking through all the hallways, you can eventually find somebody that's still alive, and then you're being tracked by Jackal, but like, okay, come get me, bitch. Like, I'm a defender for a reason. Come fucking get me. Like, I don't... His guns are good again, but nah. L for me. Come get me. Nomad, I think, is A. I really enjoy playing Nomad. I think her ability is very solid. I think she's a great way to cause a great disruption for the defending team, whether it's a roamer coming down the hallway behind you, whether it's getting somebody out of a spot, or, you know, if just there's nobody really around you and you just want somebody or something to kind of have your back, then her ability is one of the best. I don't think her guns are that great. They are alright, so long as you hit your shots, obviously. I think her secondary pistol is good, but I would say her ability is definitely what carries her into the A spot. Her guns, again, not too amazing. They are good, high damage, but definitely an ability user. I would say old boy Jaeger's got to go S. They've been trying to nerf this man since day one, and they can't fucking do it. Okay? Jaeger, one of the best defensive abilities in the game, by far, if not the best. One of the best ARs in the game since day one, if not the best. And at some point, he was a 3-speed, which I know that they took that down. But still, they've been trying so hard to always nerf this guy. He's still a S tier. Overall lifetime, this dude has been S for sure. At the worst, this dude's an A, because you're still going to pick his ass up, for sure. Dude's a monster. Okay? Echo. I think Echo is an A, only because he's so annoying to play against. I think a solid Echo can literally be the difference in winning a round. I think, again, having many things to see people, plus his drone, you know, can stun people, which can cause a huge problem, whether it's you going to kill him or your teammate. Plus, his guns are solid. Solid kit overall. But definitely his little drones, they're going to cause problems because everybody's going to be looking for him. You can't see him because then they go like that predator invisibility shit when they stop moving. Then you just wait on the stun. Very, very solid defender, but annoying. I hate you. Oh, what is this dude's name? I know it's not Ace, but it's something stupid like that. Zero is his name. I think Zero is B. I don't think the extra cam is that amazing. Obviously it can be good probably the later the game goes, but again, I feel like it's just the normal drones. They're relatively easy to spot. He might be an A, kind of, but I just, you know, there's so many more useful attackers that I think I just can't put him in A, because it's literally just extra drones. Because I would feel like even though Twitch's drones are not more of them, that they're better, that she would go to A, and I can't really do that either. I think Twitch is a B. I think Twitch is just a bothersome carrier. I don't think that she's useful against a lot of people, you know, such as Bandit or even Wamai or Jaeger. Like, she's a problem for all of those people. Or even, you know, anybody that puts down any sort of trap or, you know, thing. But if you take out the drones or even hack them with Mozzie or whatever, then she's basically useless. Her guns are crazy. It's basically either you're gonna melt somebody or you're gonna get melted. So hit or miss with that. But her ability is always useful, but can relatively easily be dealt with by many things, so not the best. But again, if they're going to ban my boy Thatcher, Twitch is a good pickup to deal with people like Bandit and other stuff. Why am I forgetting her name? I've forgotten so many people's names since I played this game. But I'll give her the A spot for sure. I think her ability to slow down attackers in an area can really cause a problem, because it lets you know where the attackers are at. If the attacker goes to destroy the trap, I guess you could call it, the device, they can definitely just be killed. But if they're not going for the device and they're still going, then they're going super slow and again can easily be killed. I feel like the only reason why I can't give her an S is just because I don't think, if you're not paying enough attention, or your teammates are, or you don't place them right, your guns aren't too amazing. And again, I think there's a lot of attacker abilities or items that can just break them before they even get slowed. So I think she can be hard countered, but if she's not, then she's definitely a huge problem. Lion, I think Lion has his moments. I don't think I can put him into A because, again, I think obviously sometimes letting people know where you're at or seeing where the enemies are at is obviously amazing in this game. But I think the fact that you only have a few seconds to move to work on that can easily just be dealt with by not moving. Obviously this gives you a few seconds where you can kind of move freely, but I also don't think his weapons are that great. I think the LMG he has is alright at best, and the marksman rifle again is meh. And his kit isn't that good. I don't even remember. I think he just has like a breach charge or smoke or something. Like not very useful attacking items for the most part for, you know, someone that has that ability. But I don't know if giving him something like a grenade would be even more useful, the fact that you're marking people and then can kind of just nade them out, or if you know, heard somebody moving and then, you know, try to mark them but they don't, so you just nade them anyway. But he's alright. A solid, if you're wanting to run, you know, super rush attack or whatever, then he's definitely going to be a useful pickup. And he's not bad. He's always going to be at least relatively useful. But again, I think there are more solid attackers to play as to help yourself or play as to help your team. Ayanna, again, I think Ayanna is just B. Obviously, yeah, is it kind of disgusting to see where defenders are at? Sure, but, you know, just use a fucking drone if you're that desperate to figure out where they're at, right? Or something, you know? I think her kit is decent. I think it's pretty solid, but I don't think her ability is super useful. I mean, yeah, you can get people to shoot at your fake self, or you can see where, you know, people are at, or where traps are at, or whatever. Like, that's all very good intel, but it's basically your ability is essentially just a bodied drone. Like, you're just running around as an alibi to figure out where shit's at, you know? Like, I don't think it's the most useful kit or ability. I think it can be at certain times, but plus you're standing still, so that's even a whole nother hindrance for yourself. But okay, can be partially useful. Upside is there, but the downside is much more massive, I think. We're just gonna keep going. B, 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 B. I think Frost is in the B. I love her. She is probably, was and is, one of my most favorite defenders, just because it's so easy to use her and it's so much more fun when some dumbass tries to vault through a window or over a barricade or whatever and just gets their fucking ankle snapped. They gotta lay there. And her guns are solid, whether you're using the shotgun or the SMG. I think she's solid. I think just the downside is she's very easily dealt with. I think the bear traps at this point in the lifespan of the game are easily known and easily dealt with, whether it's with utility or just being shot, because you can vault a barricade and shoot the ground to destroy it before you land on it. Sometimes that's obviously very hard to do, but it is possible. I feel like that's why she's in B. I want to put her in A because I think she is very good, definitely very cheeky, but I think in the lifespan of the game, I think she has been learned how to be dealt with overall. So I would say B plus though. If there was, a tier, I'd put her, over here on this shit. Move the fuck out of her way, bro. Damn. Blitz, let's get his dumbass in B. Be glad I don't put your ass in C. I think that is the scariest noise in the world when you hear that fucking shield sprinting at you and gonna flash you some titties in your face and then just beat your ass. But I do think there's, again, at this point in the game and all the people that they have, I think he's relatively easily dealt with now, for the most part. Plus, he's a lot easier to hit than Monty because he can't really block a lot of his body all the time. He's either going to be slow or sprinting. But he's definitely a problem child for sure. So since we'll bring up Blitz and a lot of speed attacking things, I'll bring up Capcan. Capcan is difficult. Capcan used to be so good when he could one hit down with his trap, but now he cannot, but he does have more. So now it's 2 hit down with the trap. You know what? I think I have to put him in A. I think he's a great area defender, and I think he stops a lot of rushing and definitely slows enemies down. And definitely, even if you put him at random spots and they're not paying attention, it's free possible down or damage to help, later. You're definitely going to be an assist man, but I think what puts him over the edge as far as having a pretty decent overall build and having so many is that his guns are solid. Pretty much no recoil, decent damage, plus a nitro cell, so yeah, he's definitely overall solid. I do think, I don't know, for some reason I want to say they gave him, I think he has nitro cell or impacts actually, but I feel like one of those have been messed with, I'm not sure. Who are we gonna do last? I don't know. Goyo. I think Goyo is just in the B. I think, again, like many of the people, can be useful, but it's hit or miss. I mean, having a barricade that you can use to make an area fire can be very good, but also the fact that it can be used against you and your gun is okay. I think he's just overall solid. There's not really, I don't have anything to really complain about, but I don't have anything to talk him up into anything higher than just being a solid B tier unit or operator, whatever. Yeah, I just think the biggest downfall for him is just the fact that they can use your own ability against you, kind of. So you gotta watch out for that. But I do think it can definitely help you win around by cutting off an area. So they either gotta, take some damage or get killed or both. So there's that. Doc, I have to give into A. I'm not putting into S because I hate the motherfucker. Have since day one. But the fact that you can re-heal yourself or your teammates permanently, or give them extra health, or just simply revive yourself, is insane in this game. I think it's probably one of the best defending abilities, if not one of the best abilities in the game. Not the best for sure, but definitely up there. You know, revive yourself and just heal yourself back up to full like nothing happened. I think his guns are also solid. I don't really remember what his kit is as far as if he has like barricade or barbed wire. I know he doesn't have any like nitrosaur impacts unless they gave it to him at some point that I don't know about. But I think whatever he has is not very useful. I actually think it's a bulletproof camera and something, but decent guns. Nothing great, but nothing that bad. But I think the revive and the health has definitely won people games, gotten people kills, or obviously prevented multiple deaths in the game. Plus you can shoot your downed teammates with it too, so free pickup revive. Annoying little bitch Doc is, that's for sure. Habana, I'll give a nod into A. Mostly just because there are so few hard breachers in the game, and you can always use one. So her kit is obviously very useful. Her guns are decent, nothing crazy, but I think the only reason she's an A is literally just because she's a hard breacher, and I feel like she's not even, you know, you're going to choose Ace or Thermite over her more times than not, I would say. Since we're doing hard breacher, we'll just finish it. I'll go Maverick A also. Mostly the reason Maverick is an A as well is because his guns are good. I think he has the best overall kit as a hard breacher, but I think he's the worst hard breacher in itself. I think if you're actually trying to hard breach and get through a wall with Maverick, it's basically not worth it, and it's going to take way too long, or just end up getting you killed by some other person or something. Plus it's very hard to do unless you're used to doing it. But I do think Maverick's little holes or lines or whatever, legit free kills, especially if people are not paying attention. There's so many times that, you know, you're fighting somebody else or whatever, and you get killed, and you've seen Maverick hanging upside down over here or whatever, and he just, like, you know, 1-2 taps you. Because his marksman rifle is good, but his M4 is obviously very good as well, and his pistol does high damage, and I think he has a grenade anyway. But definitely one of the best hard breachers as far as overall kit, but probably the worst hard breacher if that's exactly what you're trying to do, if that makes sense. A lot of these are a little bit harder. I think I have to give Rook the nod to A as well. I think having your whole team be able to not be insta-killed, obviously so long as it's not a headshot, but being able to possibly revive everybody on your team with the armor. His guns are decent, again, plus he has impacts, so that's solid. And he's got, obviously, three armor on top of his armor, so he's definitely a little bit of a tank, probably the tankiest in the game for sure. So I think he's solid. Again, I think the biggest thing that carries him up to A is because he can give his whole team armor, obviously. But he's not bad otherwise either, not terrible. Oh, what do we want to do? I don't know, man. I think I think Ying has to go to B. I kind of want to put her in A. The only reason why I say she's in B is because she is the only one in the game that can deal with the Canela clusters. Because she's just gonna flash literally the entire lobby, whether it's the enemies or her teammates. When she does it, I think obviously also having flash grenades essentially as your ability is not always going to be the best. Plus, you know, if they have Jaeger or Mai, sometimes that can just be easily dealt with. And I don't think her guns are too amazing. Obviously, having LMG is good, but it's probably one of the worser LMGs in the game. It's not amazing. But she is solid. I know I'm shitting on her a lot, but I do enjoy playing as her, and I do enjoy having her on my team. I just think her usefulness can sometimes be a hindrance to the team instead of more useful. Cade, I'll give A tier for sure. I think he is a better bandit only because I think his little shock charges are harder to deal with than Bandit's whatchamacallits. Overall, he's gonna just stop the same amount as Bandit can, but there is some cheeky stuff that you can do with Cade, and I do think his guns as an overall kit are better than Bandit's. I don't remember what he has, whether it's... I don't think he has Nitro Cell or Impact. I think he has like a barricade and shit. But his guns are good, no matter what you use, plus the secondary pistol is nasty anyway. I think his ability is minimum as good as Bandit's, as far as how many things it can electrify and stop. But I do think it is somewhat better than Bandit's because they're harder to find than Bandits can be, other than just, you know, sitting on the floor where they should. So he's definitely solid, one of the best defenders in the game for sure. Definitely worth a pickup or having on a team. Never been mad having a Cade on my team. Ella, I'll probably have to give the nod into A as well. I think she's very annoying to play against, having something that stuns you, obviously makes noise, everybody knows where you're at. Her guns, though, are a little crazy. I think the shotgun is not that good, so if you're using the SMG, you better be ready to shoot at the sky unless you're used to the recoil. But again, I think her little stun grenades are very frightening to an attacking team. Definitely can slow people, and even if you know, save one or two for later and you don't want to put them up and they have a Monty or some shit, like it can be she can be useful pretty much at all times in the game, but you gotta watch out for her weapons for sure. Fuse, I think I have to give Fuse an A spot too. I think he can cause an insane amount of destruction and damage to the defending team. I think he can relatively be stopped easily, whether you know, because most of the time he's going to be probably a floor above you, so definitely can be killed by some roamers or something. There's that. If he's not and he's shooting through a window near the objective or whatever, obviously let's not talk about him killing the hostage because that's very possible. But I think there's a lot of stuff that can stop him as far as Jaeger, Mai, I think he can get through. Yeah, he can definitely get through Castle's shit anyway. But I think most people are running Jaeger and Mai, so most of the time a lot of your fuses aren't gonna happen. But Fuse also oh my god, does have very solid weapons. Obviously, the AK is very, very good. Does have an LMG if you want to use that. And now he does have like the bigger breach charge or whatever. So definitely a solid, but you got to be very careful where you're shooting your clusters. Don't kill teammates or hostage if you're that low of a level. Some OG smoke. I think I also have to give him an A, only because he's probably one of the best to be able to consistently lock down an area and make sure nobody can really get through it unless they decide they want to take some damage. His guns are alright, but I think already as a defender and then being able to stop someone and lock down an area even gives him more. I would say the only reason why he's not an S as well is mostly just because his guns aren't necessarily the best. He's definitely carried by the fact that he can just stop, slow down, as well as kill or damage the attackers with his ability. Mute is for sure minimum A tier. I would say the only reason why he's not S anymore is because they brought down his area effect for his little mute devices. He used to be probably my favorite defender as well, because even if you use him now, he's always useful. One of the best, most useful defenders in the game. Stops the drones the entire game unless the mute devices are dealt with. And his kit is pretty solid. Obviously, having a nitro cell or impacts as a defender puts you up there no matter what. And the MP5 is not that bad, or you can just use a shotgun if you want, but I would just use MP5. But overall, he's definitely one of the most consistent and best defenders in the game, no matter what. Even if his mute charges go away, he still has a solid kit behind him. Plus, he's OG defender, baby, you know? Legion. Man. I think I gotta give my boy S. I really do. And I think the biggest reason why is because we'll start with his kit. Impact's great. SMG has no recoil and solid. Now you go to his ability, which are the poison mines. You can have, I think, 6 or 8 total in the game. I think that's max. I don't think if one is destroyed that you can essentially then put another one out at some point. I think it's 8 no matter what, whether any of them are destroyed or not. But they are invisible. They do damage as soon as you step on them, and then they will do damage until you take them out. So it forces them to either keep taking damage or sit and stand there and take the poison out. It also gives you an indicator of where they're at, because it makes noise, plus they're making noise, and you can see where it popped if you pay enough attention to where you place the mines and when they go away. He's definitely the assist master in the game, for sure. If you're running Legion on defense, you'll have the most assists, I promise you. I think he's just probably one of the best as far as slowing down speed attacks, knowing where people are at, minimum at least helping your team out, and then a solid kit behind him. There's literally nothing bad about the dude. Now your girl Dokkaebi, also known as DK if you're a beast. I think I gotta give her a nice little A spot. I don't think she deserves B. I think her guns are solid. I think the utility she can bring is solid as well. I know they've switched her kit around a lot as far as whether she's got smokes, concussions, frag grenades, etc. I don't even know what she has at this point, but I think overall the utility that she can bring to an attacking team, as well as hold her own in a 1v1 fight, is up there. I do think she's probably an A- as far as the A tier. Again, there's definitely way better attackers that you can use, but I think the possibility that she brings to your team is very much up there. So, let me know what you guys think. I'm sorry that I forgot a lot of these dudes' names, but honestly, if I forgot their name, they're probably down here aside from her. Still think, obviously, most of the OGs are probably the best in the game. But let me know what you guys think, where you guys would move or lessen people and whatnot. I know, obviously, some of these people would be up or down depending on what they do. I know some of their abilities, but not well enough to point them out. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, where you guys would place